What's up, everybody? Good to see you. What is going on? This is Eric here from Inspired Exercise NYC. It has been a hot minute. I got married last year, was traveling around, and I needed a break from social media. Honestly, that's probably the most accurate reason why I haven't been here in a long time. But I feel really good now, and I'm energized, refreshed, and ready to get back to it. And I am actually very excited to go over and share this month's topic with you all, which is called Your Inspired Fitness Mission. What the hell does that mean? Well, I'm going to tell you in a second. So, an Inspired Fitness Mission is basically it's like three parts. First, it's going to be your overarching fitness goal. It's your vision, which is your overarching fitness goal that is specific and meaningful to you and can actually be encapsulated in an actual vision that you look at every single day of what you want to accomplish. And the second part is a plan, a very specific plan to help you accomplish that vision that is not only scientifically efficient, that will get you there, but is also fun for you so that you will enjoy the process of getting yourself there. And the third part is a contingency. And that is when things don't go according to plan, when everything isn't perfect, when shit happens in your life, which it will, what do you do? Do you have contingencies in place to keep the momentum going so that you will stay on your mission and not abandon it? So those are the three steps to your Inspired Fitness Mission. It's something that I've been kind of working on my whole life. You know, personally, I've gone on many Inspired Fitness missions. In fact, I kind of laugh, like when I was 20 years old, I was really into bodybuilding. I wanted to get huge. I wanted to be a fucking massive person. I wanted to be like the ultimate warrior, you know, or as close to it as I could get without taking steroids. So I started training in a gym with this guy, Ollie McClay, who was an ex-NFL football player turned bodybuilding instructor. And we would work out 6 days a week for 2 hours. The other guys in the group were bodybuilders. They taught me a lot about bodybuilding nutrition. So I was eating 6 meals a day, very specific content. And I got huge. I mean, I put on like 30 plus pounds in the first 3.5 months. People in the gym were blown away. And I was too. I felt great. I was like, wow, I've really accomplished my goal. I love the way that I looked aesthetically. But then I went to the doctor and I found out that in my mid 20s, I had high cholesterol and high blood pressure. So I was like, Jesus Christ, I got to do something about this. So I started eating more vegetables. I got into being a vegetarian. I realized also that I was kind of stiff. You know, I hadn't been stretching as much, so I wanted to get more flexible. I started taking yoga. And then in the process of doing that, of going after this goal of lowering my cholesterol and lowering my blood pressure and getting more flexible, I got really into the spiritual aspect of yoga and meditation. So I became a vegan, a hardcore vegan. I was meditating in the morning for an hour. I was meditating at night for an hour. I was practicing yoga 6 days a week. I was all about animal rights and all this stuff and sustainable everything. And I became a stick figure. People actually started to worry about me because I looked like I was anorexic. But I felt great. And I was on this mission and I was more flexible and I was grounded. And my cholesterol and my blood pressure went way down. And I was actually, you know, inside very healthy, but outside my body was getting weaker and weaker. And it kind of culminated when I taught a workshop in Hawaii with an ex-partner. And we went to go hike the Nepali coast, which is someplace that I always wanted to hike. I'm a huge hiker. I love it. And we got about a quarter of the way in and my knees were killing me and I couldn't do it. I mean, it was kind of embarrassing as someone who was like this fitness instructor and I can't even hike, you know, for like a quarter of the way into this hike that, you know, it's not like an easy hike, but there are a lot of people that were over the age of 60 and not in great shape that were hiking further than I was. So it was an embarrassing moment for me. And I was like, you know, I got to do something here. So I reframed my goals and I created a mission to be able to hike the Nepali coast. I got certified in kettlebells, in Pilates, in TRX. I started doing all this functional movement to be able to build strength in my legs, to be able to build strength in my hips and my core, to be able to functionally do the things I wanted to do. I started riding my bike all over the city to all of my clients. My cardiovascular fitness went through the roof. My core strength got really high. My legs were super strong. And 2 years later, I went to the Nepali coast And I hiked not only that hike once, but I did it twice that week. And the second time, I was like on such a high that I did this hike that usually takes people 5 to 6 hours in 2 hours because it just felt so good. And it was just, I felt like in retrospect, it was crazy because it's kind of dangerous and I almost fell off a cliff, but it was like, there was something about it that just felt so good. I was on this high because I had trained so hard, and there was something about being there 2 years later in this place that I couldn't even function, and being able to function at such a high level that just, it made me feel so good. And so the reason I'm sharing this is because that's what a fitness mission can do for you. It can take you from being in a place where you're like literally not able to function to being able to function at a very high level in a relatively short period of time, if you have a specific mission that means something to you. And so that's what I'm going to go over this month. We're going to go over the fitness mission in depth in each part, the vision part. We're going to go through the plan part, and we're going to go through the contingency part so that you can take each element and implement it into yourself, into your own practice, and create a mission for yourself that gets you 100% invested so that you see it through to the end, and you'll get to have that feeling of being able to do something that you never thought you'd be able to do at the end. So if that sounds good, tune in. I'm excited to go through this with you. And until then, have yourself a great night.